talk to some of these, I don't want to call them kids, young adults.
Young adults.
What's it like? I mean, kind of what's going on?
Well, with many of them, I think, as we all know, there's such a digital world right now. So they're masters on the computer. They're, Facebooking and, finding all these new friends via Facebook and text messaging, instant messaging, so they're very connected to a large number of people. But what I find is challenging for them is the face-to-face interaction.
Right.
And I think we all hear that it's networking is the way to get a job, and it's really, really true. I think 80% of jobs are found through networking. There's a 4% success rate if you're just looking for a job online. So very low, 4%.
4% by all these people just, hit the button, send your resume.
Right. So it might be a way to research jobs, might be a way to learn about jobs, but you need to figure out a way to get out there, meet people. It's really about building relationships. Yeah. So it's that face-to-face interaction, and I think there's just a lot of young adults who have not, they've done that a lot with their friends, but they haven't done that in sort of that type of professional environment or a networking event. So I encourage them to go, and we talk about how to do it, the strategies.
Well, great. What are a couple of things? Because, when you work towards that, you got to, what's networking?
I mean, really what I try and have young people do is not to make it real pressure, because what they feel like, we're just going to this event and we're looking for a job, but we're feeling like we don't want to just go and say, hey, my name's so-and-so, I'm looking for a job. So it's really like an informational gathering. I said, just go casually, try and be yourself, but, you shake the person's hand, you have good eye contact, you should have a business card. Sometimes a resume, but that's not always comfortable, so at least some way that has all of your contact information. And just ask them, you're a financial planner. What does that mean? Tell me about it. How did you get into it? Yeah, so a little bit of an informational interview in a casual way. I think that's sometimes, it's finding those things that maybe you have in common with that person, and that starts that whole process of developing a relationship. And so it's hard for them. Go with a friend, go with a buddy, even, I sort of encourage them to branch off from their buddy, but in the beginning, maybe that's difficult. So, and maybe the easier way is they might have one contact through, it might be one of their parents' friends, or it might be from a job they worked at in high school. Set up an informational interview with that person and just talk to them about their job. And so it's building a network, but it's all the socialization and just interaction.
And today with the digital, so much texting, I mean, really, it's not just the college kids who are missing some of those verbal skills.
Right. Yeah.
And so almost any age.
So it's finding a balance. I mean, I'm certainly not saying don't be online at all. I mean, I really think LinkedIn is a great tool. I mean, Facebook can be a good tool, but don't have that be your entire way of networking. You need to, it's good to sort of launch it to start it. Maybe you get introduced to somebody, and then try and figure out a way to meet them, if they're going to an event. So just getting out there. And the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Right.
It's practice.
It's practice.
And that's what's great about by doing that, you get more comfortable. So when you do get to the interviews, part of it, you're more comfortable. A little bit more nerve-wracking in an interview, but you're starting to develop some of those skills.
Right.
Yes.
But it's sort of, I tell my kids, not just interviews, but they have tests that they take. And, anything that's a pressure situation, it's like a sport, right? You got to get up to bat. And if you hit a couple, great.
Right.
And, you're going to hit a couple out of a lot, right? It's sort of, as they say in business world, it's a numbers game.
Oh, definitely a numbers game. But speaking of sports, I mean, I was just thinking, I think it's a great idea in high school and in college that sort of helps with this is to be involved in a sport, a club, a group, because that you really are doing networking in that. I mean, they don't think of it as networking, but that's what's happening. You're meeting people, you're developing relationships. You might be in a club, FBLA, let's say in high school, which is Future Business Leaders of America.
Okay.
I was an advisor for that group. So they mingled with other students, but then there was a lot of outside things in the community. So they were really doing some networking and developing a network. So, keep that information. Get people's cards, follow up when you meet somebody that's interesting. So it's all of those things.
Yeah.